When you find a blessed man who is genuinely blessed by God, there's a way we live. Number one, I've already touched a bit of it, is the mystery of the prophetic word. We live talking the word. That's how we live. We live talking the word. And the mystery of the prophetic word is simple. That there is life and that there is power in your words if they are spoken under the anointing or in the will of God or as you are commanded. That's the mystery of the prophetic word. Your word have life and power if spoken under the anointing, in the will of God, or as commanded. And so a blessed man always labor to stay the anointing, to stay in the will of God, or to stay under God's command, because that is what makes his words powerful. When the anointing is stirred, anything you say happens. And so a man who lives in the way of the blessing always keeps himself charged. That's why you see those who walk this order, they either have periodic routine of prayer, or you find them always fasting, or you find them listening and talking with people who charge their spirit, because they need to keep the anointing activated. They say God is able to do exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think, but it's according to the power at work in you. And so it's your responsibility to keep that power charged. There are some persons you see, there's always a worship song playing. They want the anointing stirred, because under that unction, anything they say happen. When you speak under the anointing, there's life, there's power. It's not about the language. This is not English. This is not Ashanti. This is life and power. He said, the words I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. But there is something you do to bring life into those words, is to keep the anointing stirred. That's why you see, when we are preaching and the place becomes charged, anything we declare begins to happen. Why do you think ministers hardly make declaration at the beginning of the service? Because they understand the principle. When the place is charged, that's when to declare. Or if you discover this is the will of God, that's why we study the word, to know the will of God. When you know the will of God and you proclaim it, there's life, there's power. Or you stay sensitive to hear. When you say what you hear, there's life and power. He said, I prophesied as I was commanded. It's the mystery of the prophetic word. The second thing about the way of the blessed is the mystery of obedience. He said to Abraham, get out of your country, get out of your kindred, get out of your father's house. If I lose everything, how then will I be blessed? But to obey is better than sacrifice, to hearken than the fat of rams. A man who says he's blessed and lives in rebellion does not know the blessing. When God says live a life of purity, it's a commandment. And so you are not coming to tell God, I'm sorry, I didn't know what came over me. He will forgive you, but you'll be a child. And so long as you are a child, kingdom will not be given to you. That's why many believers are forgiven, but they never become powerful. They never become great, and they never dominate, because their life is littered with disobedience. God tells them, go and give this seed. They stand up and say, Lord, I can't give that seed because I have to pay my house rent. My children need to go to school. And they now eat, they spend the seed. He said, he giveth bread to the eater and seed to the sower. Bread is to be eaten, seed is to be sown. If you eat your seed, your tomorrow is gone. If you say you are a blessed man, obedience must become prompt. In Genesis 22 verse 1, he said, now God tested Abraham and said to him, take thy son, thy only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and go to one of the mountains in Moriah that I will show you. There, offer him unto me. And the Bible said in verse 3, it said, early in the morning, Abraham took the boy. He didn't delay, because he knew the key of walking in the blessing. Many are talking the blessing, but their life is full of disobedience. When Abraham came to that mountain in Genesis 22:5, He told the other guys, wait behind. I'm going with the child to worship. He called his obedience his worship. Worship is not a song you sing crying. Worship is actually dogged obedience to God. That was the same obedience Jesus demonstrated at Gethsemane. The Bible said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Notwithstanding, I must do the will of him that sent me. For him, it was a must. Do you know how many places and for how many years we have walked in disobedience and rebellion? They lay hands on you, they pour a drum of oil on you, nothing works. The reason is because the blessing cannot walk outside of obedience. It's the way of the blessing. A blessed man is an obedient man. Number 3, the blessing is ordered by sacrifice.
Subscribe.